Today I decided to make these videos about expats and living abroad in Southeast Asia. Let me tell you, I've been to Southeast Asia, I want to say 25, 30 times to different countries. I've stayed there. The last time I just came back 2 weeks ago after a 3 month period traveling all over Southeast Asia. I touched 6 countries. I landed in Philippines. I was there for a month. I rented a motorcycle and I went all over the Philippines. Nice country. Then I went straight to, I forgot where I were. Oh, to Hong Kong for a couple of days. There's nothing much to do in Hong Kong. Very expensive. Nothing to do. It's just an island, little city, overcrowded. Nothing to do really. It's a business city like Singapore. I stayed there for a few days, and then after Hong Kong, I went to Vietnam. I stayed in Vietnam for about almost 3 weeks, more than enough. Let me tell you guys. I landed in Hanoi. I rented a motorcycle in Hanoi, and I went all over Hanoi. Hanoi is the capital, very governmental kind of city. If you stay in the old quarters, French quarters, that's for the tourists. That's the tourist traps. Everything is way too expensive, overcrowded, and pretty much expensive. Let me tell you guys. That's why I rent motorcycles when I go over anywhere, any country, because that gives you the ability to move around, to widen your area, and to really get to know the city. Hanoi is big. It's not as big as Ho Chi Minh City. It's big, but let me tell. I stayed there for what I think it was 8 days, 9 days in Hanoi. I stayed in the French Quarter, a nice hotel. What's the name of the hotel? Some French name. Bonjour Hanoi or something like that. Bonjour Hotel, something like that. Bonjour. Nice, highly recommended. Very nice price, clean, very old French style hotel from 150 years ago. Anyway, then Hanoi is huge. It's overcrowded, very busy. People coming and going about their regular lives. The Vietnamese people, I know. I mean, and then you have the tourists. I don't know, walking up and down aimlessly, eating crap. Let me tell you, the street food there is abundant, overpriced. Let me tell you, pay about 3, 4, 5 times what anybody else pays a couple of blocks down the road. And they also have I don't want to say everywhere, but like any other country, they have the locals price and the tourist price. The tourist price is at least double what the locals pay, and for less quality food. Okay. All right. But anyway, yeah. And then I got bored of Hanoi, and then I returned the bike. I took a sleeper bus to Hue, and then Hue it's just a small town, nothing to do there, very boring really. And then I end up in Da Nang. Da Nang is beautiful. The beaches are beautiful. Let me tell you. I do like Da Nang. Next time I go to Vietnam, I'm gonna go straight to Da Nang. Stay there for I don't know, 10 days, 2 weeks, just to do nothing. If you really wanted to a place where you're gonna be there and just do nothing, that's Da Nang. Let me tell you, Da Nang. Beautiful beaches, nice people. Amazing beach city. If you're a beach person, you like the beaches and you like swimming in the sea, clean water, very clean water, the sea water. Let me tell you, the beach is nice. You get to see people like exercising early in the morning and late at night, about 7, no, 6, 7, 8. They do Tai Chi and they do Zumba and they dance. The locals, and also you'll see some tourists trying to make to mingle, right? To belong. But anyway, Da Nang would be the my destination. If whenever next time I go to Vietnam, is gonna go straight to Da Nang. And actually, you know what? They do have an international airport. They do have an international airport. You can go straight to Da Nang, and you can leave straight from Da Nang. They have an international airport. All right. After Da Nang, I'd really enjoy it. I'm suntan right now. I'm still. Actually, I want to show you. Look, I'm still suntan. You see my? I don't know if you can see. I'm still tan from being over there. I guess. Like I said, 3 months traveling around in Southeast Asia. Anyway, like I said, Da Nang is the place to go. Go straight there and come back from there. You can skip the rest of Vietnam. After Da Nang, I really missed Da Nang. I really didn't want to leave, but I was committed to go all over, all around Vietnam. I went from the north to the south. And then from Da Nang, I took a sleeper. I rented a motorcycle in Da Nang. I went all around. Here, it's a normal city. People going about their regular lives. But anyway, after being in Da Nang for I think 7-8 days, I took a sleeper bus and went out to Ho Chi Minh City. I didn't want to rent a motorcycle. I'm being honest right here, okay? I didn't want to rent a motorcycle and go all around the country like I did in the Philippines and like I did in Thailand. In the Philippines, I rented a motorcycle and literally left from Mactan Island, south of Cebu, and I went all over the Philippines, all over. I touched every single town in the Philippines. I went to the main islands, 8 or 9 islands of the big ones. It's impossible to go all over the islands because some of the islands in the Philippines are, not populated. They have no people in there. It's just islands. And the Philippines is about 7,400 islands. The biggest one is Luzon, where Manila is, and Quezon City, Manila, Batangas. Beautiful, huge, big island. But anyway, I rented a motorcycle and I went all over the Philippines in a month. I traveled 5,000 kilometers in the motorcycle. That's without counting the ferry trips, because you gotta take a ferry, roll in, roll out with the motorcycle to go from island to island. And then I'm here enjoying my son here at home in the US. Look at my roses. But anyway, okay, going back to Vietnam. The motorcycles are trash, the rentals, and I will tell you why. Even though I travel with my international driver license for motorcycles and for cars, but usually I use it for motorcycles. I don't like renting cars. Anyway, because I like to enjoy the sun, the wind. I'm a biker for life. I mean, I've been riding since I'm 13 years old. I've been riding since I'm 13 years old. I ride big bikes. I don't like toys, little tiny toys. If it's not 1,000, I don't like it. I don't want it. 1,000 cc's. But anyway, I have my international driver license. Now, in Vietnam specifically, because we're talking about Vietnam, the law says that they don't recognize as valid the international driver license like in every country in the world. Vietnam is special because they want you to have a pre-1964 or 1968. Okay, the international driver license, the regular one, the one you probably have, is a 1968 Geneva Agreement, international driver license, where you can, in any country of the world, you go and rent a motorcycle or a car and you're good to go. It's the equivalent of what you have in your country. you can use that as a driver license in any other country except Vietnam. Vietnam is special because it's a communist country. They only take there's a driver license from 1964. It's an older agreement. So who has that, right? I guess only in Vietnam you can get one of those, but it's gonna be valid only in Vietnam, because if you go to another country, they're not gonna take that driver license from 1964 agreement. They will want you to have the 1968, which is a regular driver license. Anyway, I know it's confusing, but when you go to Vietnam with your international driver license, you're not going to be able to rent anything bigger than 125 cc's. And because they're all beat down, like mopeds and whatever you have, they are dangerous little toys. Let me tell you, they're too light. And like I said, they're in bad condition because they don't really buy new equipment to rent. They're like using 10, 15-year-olds mopeds, and no, I don't want to, I have bad experience. But anyway, that's the problem in Vietnam. You cannot rent anything good, anything above 125. They want you to have that driver license from 1964. Now, in all fairness, yes, they have some driving schools where you can take a class. I think they have different intensive training for 4 days. They have 1 week classes, 2 weeks classes to get a Vietnamese required international driver license from 1964 agreement. Waste of time, waste of money, because that's only valid in Vietnam. I guess somebody who goes frequently to Vietnam and rents motorcycles probably is, that's a person that needs to take those classes and go ahead and be certified to rent bigger motorcycles in Vietnam and be safer. That's why they have the riders. They have some tours where you don't ride the bike, you don't drive the bike, you actually are the passenger in the back of a Vietnamese rider. Very expensive, and they can take you from Hanoi. You can go. There's like a mountainous circuit. Forgot it says the Gan Hoi, something like that, trek or track, where they take you all around the mountains, and you are but you are the passenger in those little bikes. Very dangerous. I don't recommend it to do. I wouldn't do it myself. The roads are the roads are very bad. They're mostly gravel, dirt, muddy if it's been raining. I don't recommend it at all, let alone as a passenger. If you don't have experience riding motorcycles, let alone being a passenger in the back of a motorcycle with a tiny Vietnamese guy riding no. And if you're like backpacking and you have your heavy backpack, if the guy's trying to take a twisty, and your backpack, kind of flaps to the side, you're gonna drag the entire motorcycle under right. No, I don't. And then the problem is that if you're up in the mountains and those roads are very bad, if you see down, there's the bits down there where you can fall, and you're not gonna stop rolling until, I don't know, 1,000, 2,000 feet down the mountain. So I don't recommend that. It's very dangerous, to be honest. It's very popular there. They offered it to me. And I said, nah, thank you. And I am a very experienced rider, biker, right? I wouldn't do it. Dangerous. I don't want to die in Vietnam doing one of those, stunts. But anyway, you can do that. Oh yeah, going back to the driver license. So somebody who goes to Vietnam very often, I guess, yeah, go ahead and take the classes, be certified. It's gonna cost you some money. It's not cheap either. It's gonna be about $250 for the week training and certification and blah blah blah. Some walk tourists go and be certified. Just to say, bragging rights. Oh, I went to Vietnam. I took the classes. Now I have my Vietnamese. But you know what? Not worth it, really. Anyway, I rented the small bikes just to ride around the city. It's more than enough. More than enough. Besides, the traffic is so insane that riding a bigger bike also is not a good idea. In Thailand, for example, the traffic is lighter, the cities are wider, roads are wider, better roads. Nothing to do that Thailand is better than Vietnam, to be honest with you. As a country, as economy, as the cities, everything, honestly. I'm in love with Thailand. Thailand is a beautiful country. Okay, but I rented the 125 little. What was it? It was a Yamaha. The one in Hanoi was a Yamaha Click. Oh yeah, the Click. Yamaha Click. I think it was 125 cc's. Very too light. Too light. If you hit the brakes, you're gonna slide because they don't have ABS. They don't have. They have zero technology. Zero technology. Very dangerous. They use carburetor. They're not fuel injected. No ABS. It takes forever to come to a stop when you hit the brakes. Very dangerous. I wouldn't recommend that. But anyway, that was the reason why I didn't want to travel from city to city in Vietnam, because I didn't feel comfortable. I didn't feel safe with those small little beaters. I needed something big, like the motorcycle I rented in Thailand was a Honda Forza 350. Beautiful bike, automatic bike, motorbike. It's heavy, very economic in gas, but with ABS. I mean, it was the one I rented was a 2025 Honda Forza 350. The one I rented in Thailand. The one I rented, the bike I rented in Philippines was a Honda PCX 160. A great bike, modern. I think it was a 2025. ABS, all electric, USB port to charge your phone as you go. Very modern, very modern. I also had a case in the back so I can put my stuff in there, my backpack. You definitely need a case, a trunk case, at least the top rear one, to put your stuff, because you cannot be riding long distances with a backpack on. You're gonna crash, because the backpack moves independently than your body. So if you're trying to make take a left twisty and the backpack flips over like that to that side, like suddenly, that is gonna pull you down. You're gonna be off balance. You're gonna crash. Anyway, that's the story with Vietnam. I didn't feel safe going from town to town, long distance traveling. Also, I noticed that in a mosquito tried to get into my nose. Also, I noticed that in Vietnam, the gas stations on the road are not as abundant, or you don't find gas stations as frequently as in Philippines or Thailand. For example, I would say that in Vietnam, if you ever do that, you will need to get a spare gas container with at least 2 gallons of gas, just in case you run out of gas in the middle of nowhere, or in between gas stations. I wouldn't risk it. Look at how beautiful the day is. I wouldn't risk. I'm with my dog here. That's one of my babies. But anyway, I wouldn't do that. I wouldn't go from big city to big city in Vietnam, because I wouldn't. Like I said, unless I can rent a nice bike, a big bike with modern equipment, electronic ABS, even if they have track control way better. and also large capacity gas tank, because like I said, and even then I would carry one of those red, spare gas gallons, or 2 gallons at least, in my case, or tied down to the bike, because like I said, I wouldn't trust to find a gas station when I need it, when I'm running out of gas in the bike. So I wouldn't do that. That's why I took a sleeper buses from Hanoi to Da Nang. We stop in Hue, Hue, a small town really. Of course, they have historic places everywhere. They are rich countries, very old countries, 1,000-year-old cultures. They have spas. They have. I mean, if you're really into getting to know the history of those countries, Southeast Asia, and specifically here we're talking about Vietnam. Yes, you need to take the time, and it's best if you plan way ahead, make a list of things that you want to see in those countries, but you cannot, you know. But anyway, that's my experience. That's the reason I took a sleeper bus from Hanoi to Da Nang, passing through Hue, and then I stayed in Da Nang, and then I took another sleeper bus to Ho Chi Minh City, the old Saigon. Like I say, it's very, very nice country. It is cheap, but again, you'll run into the tourist prices everywhere. I mean, it's nothing spectacular to be. I don't know if it's like I've been there too many times that I don't feel anything impressive anymore. That's the problem when you travel too often, especially when you start repeating countries. You get to know them fully, or at least. And the other thing is like in Thailand, for example, you're traveling from city to city and you see Buddhist temple, this and that. They have like 1 million Buddhist temples in Thailand. The same thing in Vietnam. Attractions. Anyway, Ho Chi Minh City, I don't even remember. Huge city, huge. The same thing, the downtown, the big buildings is some area, and then the rest is kind of regular like everywhere else. I don't know. I wasn't impressed at all. Like I said, next time I go to Vietnam, I'm gonna go straight to Da Nang. If I want one of those vacations where I don't want to do anything, I don't want to be doing tourism. I don't want to go to visit the temples. I don't want to go to the 1,000-year-old Buddhist temple, or they have a 4,000-year-old tree, the monument. I mean, honestly, I would go straight to Da Nang. 10 days, 14 days max, 2 weeks. And then you start feeling bored. But anyway, go straight to Da Nang and get out of Da Nang from the international airport. If you're not going back straight to your country, like back to the States, at least from Da Nang you can go to Thailand. Highly recommend Thailand. And I'm gonna do a different video. I wanna make a different video about Thailand. I don't wanna mix everything here, but let me tell you guys, there's nothing like Thailand. And contrary to common belief, I'm gonna say something here. Contrary to common belief, Thailand is more advanced. It's more expensive than Vietnam and Cambodia and Laos and all those countries, of course, because they have better economy. They are more technologically advanced. They are more developed. I'm not saying that they're developed like the U.S. or no, but it's better. And the other thing is Thailand is way more than Pattaya and Phuket and Koh Samui. More than nightlife, more than party town, more than girls and ladyboys and all that. Like I said, I grabbed the bike and I went literally to all I went even to Pai. Pai is in Thailand, is up in the north, up in the mountains. And I was riding the bike, and I was going there. They have when you're going from Chiang Mai and you are approaching Pai, and you start like going up the mountains, they go like this, very insanely, tight twisties. And there, the famous road going up to Pai It's famous. Some people know about it. I didn't know about it. It was just a coincidence. I didn't know that. I had to Google it. They have a 762 twists, turns, and it really goes like this. You see my finger like that, like in figure eights, all the way up to the mountains. Because Pai is up in the mountains. Closer is the closest town, I think, or closest big town to Burma. Um, wow. And I had to go all the way up the 762 twists, turns, and then I spent there a couple of days in Pai, and then I had to come down the same road, another 262 turns, but this time going downward. Very dangerous. Like I said, I'm gonna make a video about Thailand, but this one was about Vietnam. Like I said, I'm tired of the influencers trying to pull tourists to Vietnam. I don't want to burst your bubble here, man. Pop your little balloon, but no, no, better places to spend your money in. I made a video if you want to watch it, like a couple of hours ago. It might be down there in the playlist about ban me, another hoax, another bogus, you know, hype. These influencers, and you know what? Again, you cannot move and live in Vietnam. There's a. I'm gonna close the video. So it's a little too long right now. There's a thing that even the freaking even people there in Southeast Asia, they say that only the losers back home. There's a term they have coined for people that want to move or they desire to move and live permanently in these countries. They call them LBH, loser back home. That means that you couldn't make it in the States or in Australia or in England or in Germany, and now you couldn't make it, and you have no chance to make it, so you're a loser in your home country, and then you that's why you want to move to these poor countries with your little income from your retirement or something. They even have T-shirts. They laugh about it. Losers back home, loser back home, LBH. So hey, what can I say? But as a traveler, I know more than 100 countries. As a traveler around the world, like I said, I've been to Thailand 25 times, 30 times at least. Many other countries. Oh, after Vietnam, I went to Thailand. I left from Ho Chi Minh City and I landed in Bangkok. Right there, as soon as I landed, I rented another bike in Bangkok and I went all the way up north immediately. And then after Thailand, I went to Singapore a couple of days. Singapore, come on, man, Singapore. It's not. It's a city. It's a city state. It's just a city with a port. The water's dirty. There's no places to swim other than the swimming pools in the very expensive hotels. Nothing to do. 2 days in Singapore, you're gonna be $2,000 short, and you'll be bored. There's nothing to do. Nothing to do. Even Switzerland is more exciting than going to Singapore. Singapore is a city state. There's nothing to do. Everything is expensive. You'll find a burger like this for $50 Singaporean dollars, which is almost 1 to the dollar. I think Singaporean dollar is 125 to the dollar. So a 50 Singaporean dollars for a burger, Jesus, it's like a $45 burger. Like, and I'm saying this like this. It's not a huge burger or nothing like that. And the attitude of the people is horrible. They're used to like rich people, and if they don't see you that you're dressing Armani or something, they don't smile. They just. But anyway, I don't know. Send me an email or call me or put a comment down there. I'll help you not to make the mistakes that expats or influencers tell you that is best for you to do. Nah, you gotta know where you're going to. Southeast Asia, it's an area. It's very beautiful. Different countries. Every country is so different to the next. That's another thing. Contrary to common belief, not all Southeast Asia countries are the same. Very different from one to another. The Philippines is a different planet compared to Vietnam. Vietnam compared to Thailand. Thailand compared to Singapore. Different. The culture, the people, their origins are somehow related. Like 12,000 years ago, they were probably coming all the way from China. You know, but then they developed their own cultural identity. You cannot paint everybody with the same brush in Southeast Asia. Southeast Asia is way different, very diverse. Even in the Philippines, being only one country, they have so many different types of people. They have their own independent culture. They have five big groups in Philippines with their own language, their own culture, their own festivals, their own food, and sometimes they don't get along between them, among them. And also, they cannot understand if they speak in their own native languages. They don't understand each other. They gotta rely on the Tagalog or or English. You know, that's that's confirmed. People from the north are completely unrelated to people in the southern islands. Like people in the north of Luzon are different cultural, and everything is different from people in Cebu, for in the south. So don't think that all Filipinos are the same. No, very different people. Also, the north of the Philippines is very different than the south. The south is very busy, very cosmopolitan. It has the biggest cities, the busiest cities: Manila, Quezon. Um, if you go down to Cebu, Mactan Island, the Negros, Sonora Island. But in the north is more advanced, cleaner, richer, more industry, and also the landscape is better. It's beautiful. Well, I don't want to say better, but it's different. It's more mountains. It's greener. The cities are more far apart in between. They're not overcrowded. You know. But anyway, I don't want to make this video too long. But anyway, just if you go to Vietnam, be careful. You know, again, I'm against influencers, against people telling you that, oh, move to Vietnam, everything is going to be perfect. You cannot make it in Vietnam with $1,000 a month. No, that's another fallacy, another lie. There's no way in hell you can make it with $1,000 in Vietnam, or let alone in Thailand. You cannot, you cannot. The Philippines, if you even they know, I don't think you can make it with $1,000 a month in the Philippines either. I'm sorry to say, guys. And like I said, be careful with those influencers. They try to show you that they live the life, a rich life in Vietnam, for example, with $1,000. No way, man. No way. There's some things in these countries that are more expensive than here in the U.S. I'm here in the U.S. right now. Back home, no. There are some things and some areas in those Southeast Asia countries where things are more expensive than in the States, and the quality is less. That's another thing. Americans, we gotta stop talking bad about our own countries, our own country, demonizing the States and demonizing this and that. No, man. When you spend a long time outside the United States, you start appreciating that we have a good life here in the States, and that those countries are beautiful for a minute, and then you want to go back home. You know, really. I know I'm gonna get some hate for saying this. Yes, most of the guys that end up moving there or trying to move there or pretending that they live there are losers back home. Let's be honest. Some people embrace that concept of being losers back home. Some people embrace it, and they're proud. And when I was in Philippines, I saw some gringos, some Westerners with their T-shirt, "Loser back home." And you know what? Actually, I didn't know the term. I didn't. It was the first time. What is loser back home? I have to Google it. What is losers back home? And I learned that it's I don't know. It's a phrase that depicts people that can't make it in their own countries, like Western countries. and they have to move to poor countries, developing countries, to feel better about themselves or to stretch the little income they have, if they have anything. But anyway, share this video. I don't know how the rich is gonna have. Again, be careful with the influencers, okay? Say goodbye to my marble line here, right there. God bless America, guys. To be honest, stop talking bad about our country, okay? Stop dividing people. There's no country like the USA. I love the USA. You see my flag there? Nothing like the USA at the end, okay? Share this video, and goodbye.